Hi there and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about all the books that I read in December. Today is the 31st of December, it is New Year's Eve. Instead of doing things like going out with my friends, I am here at home doing this because I work tomorrow and I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So why not talk about books? This is the beginning of a week or so of videos for you, talking all about the books that I have read this year. So, of course, we're going to start with our wrap-up and our December haul. I haven't made a January TBR, but if I have, at the end of this, it will be the last video in the stretch. So I hope you're ready for lots of bookish fun. Here we go. So this month, to get into some statistics, I've read a total of 11 books. 2 of them were graphic novels and the rest of them were normal novels, though 2 of them this month were bind-ups of short stories. So that doesn't happen very often, and I enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. I read a total of 3,262 pages and gave our average rating of 4.18, which is on the higher side for me, so that was really good. I've read a lot of really great books this month and I'm super excited to share them with you. So first, I finished Christmas Days, 12 Stories and 12 Feasts for 12 Days by Jeanette Winterson, and I really love this book. So it goes back and forth between a short story that she's written, most of them were about ghosts, which I found a little bit interesting, and a recipe that means something to her at Christmas time. And with the recipe, she gives a story about how she normally eats it, who's normally made it, and why it's special to her. And I really enjoyed both of those. Although I don't think I'll be making any of the recipes from this book, I still thought it was a really cool thing to include, especially seeing as though a lot of her instructions were like, I think it's about this much, but I'm not really sure because I don't measure, and you just want to get a good consistency with things, which is exactly how I normally cook. So I'm very excited about that. The end papers are really nice, and the front of the book is really nice too. It's a naked hardback. I love Jeanette Winterson. I can't wait to read more of her books, and I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. After that, because one of my goals for the month was to read all the books that I got for Christmas last year before Christmas, I read Something Fierce by Carmen Aguirre, and my brother had given this to me for last Christmas because he knows that I'm interested in socialism and socialist revolutions, and he thought this one would be really cool. It was the winner of Canada Reads in 2012, and it is subtitled Memoirs of a Revolutionary Daughter. So Carmen Aguirre lives in Canada now and is a Canadian citizen, but was Chilean before everything happened in Chile, and her parents were kicked out of the country for being, involved in the revolution. And it kind of talks about her childhood and how her and her mom and her sister went back to South America to try and help the countries there and things like that, and what her experiences were as an adult and a revolutionary, and a little bit at the very end about her experiences living in Canada after publishing this book and being on Canada Reads, which was also very interesting. I absolutely adored this book. I rated it 5 out of 5. I highly recommend it to everybody. It really gives you a better idea of what's going on in South America, and I also just really love socialism and think everyone should read this because it's fantastic. One of the interesting things in it that me and my brother had a really long conversation about it was like how there were like quite literally Nazis everywhere, and I'm still not over that, but yeah, it was a good read. I really want to learn more about that time period now because of that book. Next, I read my October goal book, which was American Gods by Neil Gaiman. I rated this 3 stars. It's a little bit of a chunker. This is the author's preferred text, which is supposed to be better, and it's supposed to be more what Gaiman wanted. And I liked it, and it was good, but it was long, and I felt like it didn't move, and it wasn't for me. I really love Stardust, but I don't know. Next, I read Breakfast at Tiffany's by Truman Capote. This has 5 different stories in it. The first one is Breakfast at Tiffany's, then you have House of Flowers, A Diamond Guitar, and A Christmas Memory. So I can't count. It was actually 4. Breakfast at Tiffany's is the story that the movie is based on, and the story was really enjoyable. It did make me want to watch the movie a lot again. I also really enjoy Audrey Hepburn, and I rated this book 4 stars. I really loved all the stories in it. There wasn't one that I really disliked. I would say my least favorite was A Diamond Guitar, but they were all really interesting, and I really, like, I have a lot of feelings about this book, and I don't really want to spend forever talking about it because I already talked about Jeanette Winterson for so long. After that, I read a graphic novel, Saga Volume 3, and it was exactly what you would expect from this series. I loved it. I especially love the art at the end of the artist Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan working on their novel together, and it was beautiful. It was really fun. I really need to read the fourth one now, but unfortunately when I went to chapters they didn't have it, so I'm going to have to get my hands on that. After I finished that, I jumped directly into Lumberjanes Volume 3, A Terrible Plan. This one, of course, is by Noelle Stevenson with many different illustrators, and I rated this one also 4 stars. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I liked it as much as the other two in the series. So far, I found that the narrative was quite split in this one, and I prefer it when all the girls were together, but it was still really cute and was still about friendship and about what different skills mean to different people, which I thought was really interesting. Next, I read Wilbur Smith's The Tiger's Prey. This is like the 13th or 14th book in a series, and I gotta say, I love this book. I thought it was super interesting. It takes place in colonial India when the East India Company was at like its fullest, and it's all about this really severely messed up family and all the weird things that happen. There's pirates, there's kidnapping, there's brothers. It's just, I was super impressed with this. I won this in a Goodreads giveaway, and I am just so happy. This isn't something I would have picked up by myself, I don't think, but I did really, really enjoy reading this novel. I thought it was really bizarre, but also really cool. After that, I decided to read another Christmas book, and it was a cozy mystery called Arrest Ye Murdered Gentlemen by Vicky, Delany. This is the first book in a cozy mystery series that is all set in a Christmas town, Rudolph, in New York. So it was awesome. It was set at Christmas. There was murder. She has a dog. Like, I can't even formulate good sentences about this book. It was funny and quirky and short and lovely, and I loved it. If you're looking for Christmas books and you like cozy mysteries, this series will do it for you. After that, I read my December goal book, which was To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Many of you have probably already read this. This was my first time reading it, and I loved it. I thought it was really good. I thought that the fact that it was narrated by a child is very important to the book, and I also thought it was really interesting how well it's aged, which says something about the book itself, but also about our political climate. I rated this book a 5 out of 5. I do know that Go Set a Watchman is out also, but I have heard a lot of mixed reviews about it, so I don't know if I'm going to pick that one up, but To Kill a Mockingbird blew my mind. I read it so quickly. Second to last book that I read was The Queen of Midnight by Sylvia Izzo Hunter, and I've owned this book for a while, and I thought that it would be really good, and was it ever amazing. It was everything that I wanted from a fantasy novel right now. It starts off set in a magic school called Merlin College, which is associated with Oxford, and there's like parallel history to ours, kind of, so it talks about different monarchs that we've had and how they've been with magic and things like that. There's a secret princess, a slow burn romance, and a character who can turn into an owl, and several characters who all they want to do is be left alone in their houses with their books, but get dragged in to solving this murder and stopping another one. So yeah, this is awesome. I also found out recently that, because I read the back, that the woman who wrote it is from Canada. So bonus, I'm really excited about that too. And it was a really, really fantastic book. I can't wait to read the second one. Unfortunately, they also didn't have that at Chapters when I went today, so I'm gonna have to find it. Finally, the last book I read that I have finished this morning was Purl Up and Die by Maggie Sefton. This is the 13th book in the A Knitting Mystery series, so it's a very well-established series, and of course I have not read any other books in this series, and I thought it was pretty fun. I rated it 3 out of 5. I thought the knitting aspect was cool but also underdone, and she has a dog, which I really liked, and I thought the murder was really good in this one. It took me a while to figure it out, and then when I figured it out, I was right, so that's always really fun. Yeah, it was fun. I liked it. It also includes a knitting pattern and a recipe in the back, so that's a really fun added bonus, and I think all the books in this series have it. So I do have the one that comes after this already, so I'll probably read that relatively soon, and then maybe start the first one. But yeah, so those were all the books I read this month. Let's just get them up here. Like, it's a hefty stack. I'm pretty proud of myself. I didn't think I was going to have a lot of time to read this month, but turns out I did, and all the books I read were really good, and I really enjoyed them. But that's the end of this video, so I hope you liked it. I hope you give it a thumbs up, and I hope you enjoy my book haul, which is coming up really soon. Until then.